It's a movement in the 20th century that sees Christian faith, well, in a traditional way that involves not just the hereafter, but that is intimately involved with how the world is today, especially questions of poverty and injustice. If you want to talk in general terms about a concern for human liberation at the heart of the gospel, well, that can take many forms. So for some Latin Americans, it's merely the insight that, the gospel calls us to more than just an otherworldly paradise. For others, it was the gospel demands that we transform society, and if it's by violent revolution, then so be it. So that's a pretty wide spectrum. When it comes to the popes, each is shaped by his own biography. Here's John Paul II, who had this extremely negative experience of communism in his native Poland. So even to hear rumors that liberation theology has Marxist analysis or something like that meant that he was very allergic to it. And Benedict XVI, he was a professor during the student upheavals in Germany in the late 60s. And for him as well, the notion of Marxist thought or revolutionary thought was also a kind of allergy. So I think, those two men were shaped by their own biographies. But if we're going to be clear, we need to say that liberation theology has never been officially condemned by the church. I think the key is Francis as a person, as a man, had experience, contact with poverty as a Latin American that his European predecessors simply didn't have. And I think it's that proximity to the poor, that realization of the problem of global poverty and inequality that has enlightened his papacy and has made him more open to liberation theology. As we look to the future of the church, the majority of the Catholic Church is going to be south of the equator. So Christians in Latin America, in Africa, in South Asia. And so those populations that struggle under poverty, injustice, and we're looking for a tangible, meaningful faith in a church that embodies the values of Jesus in the Gospels, well, that makes him radical. We are living in a time, especially in our own country, of culture wars, of right-left, of select your own media, your own TV shows, cable, and you can close off in your own little world, in your own little ideological camp. Francis is modeling the way to break out of that. A lot of pundits don't even know how to pin him down. Is he left? Is he right? Is he progressive? Is he conservative? Because different elements are found in his example and in his spirituality, etc. I think that's the magic, the charisma that Francis has, that hopefully will invite many who have been disillusioned with the church